Check it out, everybody. Here's another machine we've got. 2008 Yamaha Grizzly 700 Camel EFI, and it also has power steering. Difference with this machine is we're gonna fix it. Kind of got a spot in my heart for these 700 Grizzlies, so I bought it like this. It's like it's been rolled, and they've got a radiator relocate on the front here. They must have wanted to keep the mud out of there. So we got to do some work to this to get it going again. It's got nice tires and wheels on it, but we do need to fix the racks. You can see this thing is rounded over, so I've got a different rack for that. Should pull the plastic back up. We're gonna have to check out these plastics, see if they'll snap back into place. They're probably just loose from after it got rolled. We're also looking at these bars here. They're pretty bent up and folded over, so I've got some replacement bars to put on there. And I've also got a front rack to put on here, and I'm gonna see if I can put this radiator back where it belongs so that we have a usable front rack space. So looks like we've got a worn winch on this one. We need to tidy up that front skid plate there. She's kind of hanging down. Probably just some loose fasteners. Looks like there's supposed to be a bolt through here up into this, and there's nothing there. There's one on the other side, but it's a little loose. That, and when it rolled, it probably popped all these pins out of here, so we just have to get some new pins, put all that back together, get this thing put back the way it's supposed to be. So these are good machines. This thing does run and drive. It does have a this heat shield on the exhaust here is loose and rattling. I can see this bolt right here is loose, but we'll get that tidied up. We're missing this panel, so I'm gonna have to find one of those. I do not have one of those yet. And it does have an aftermarket Barker's exhaust on it, but I did buy a stock muffler to put on it, and we'll see if I put that on or not. But yeah, otherwise this unit isn't too bad. So step one, let's pull these bent parts off. Start with the rear rack, throw the correct one on there. I do have to recoat the new rack I got, so we'll be doing that to the front rack and the rear rack, but we can get these bars switched out as well, and hopefully get that radiator moved. But let's get after it. Check it out, looks like they've done an airbox mod here. Airbox of no air filter mod. Interesting. We'll have to get a filter for that. Here's your loose. I wonder if I can tighten that up. Oh, let's see if we can get this radiator loose. It's pretty custom, huh? radiator shroud shield dually bob. They made, at least they made it out of all aluminum and used stainless hardware. That was kind of nice. But here's what we're left with. We got the radiator. There's a mangled up mount. Do have a replacement for that. This side appears all right. Might be reusing that. Still broke it with the right tool. Alright, our hood section here looks like they've done some custom trimming, so I'm gonna price one of those little guys out. See what it's gonna take to replace that, because we don't want that. Alright, so we got everything pulled off around the radiator here. Radiator still appears straight. These tabs are a little bit bent down, but I can straighten those up really easily. Other than that, that's going to be where we stop with that until I get this thing drained. I'm going to have to pull this off so I can slide it down in where it belongs. So let's start pulling these bars apart. Pull all these parts off of here and get the new ones on there. Alright, we got the bars all the way off here, pulled the airbox out of the way. I'm going to pull these front fenders off now to make accessing to get that radiator back in there a lot easier. That should help with that. Alright, we got the left hand fender off, right hand fender's loose. We got some wiring there that's inside of the plugs, so I'm going to leave that connected for now. We removed the grill and the bumper here, so that's all out of the way. Now we have easy access to where we want to slide this radiator back into place, so that'll be the next step. Hopefully it looks like they just teed in to these lines. I don't know if they're cut or not. I did get two different lines that I picked up, so I can compare those and see if I think that these are shorter. If they are, I'll swap out the lines. Otherwise, hopefully those work and I can just plug them right into the radiator here. But next will be to drain the coolant and get the radiator moved. Alright, so we brought this unit here in the garage so that when I drain this coolant, it doesn't get all over the grass. And it's a little warm out there today. It's 99. It's 73 in here. So we're going to drain this coolant and pull these lines off this radiator and see if we can get it set into place. So let's get after that. Alright, we got the radiator set in there. Need to find some bolts for the bottom. The bottom has these rubber grommets in there yet. These are the top mounts. And you can see there's just plastic sticking through there. I have to check to see if there's supposed to be rubber grommets there. I believe there is. These hoses are fitting right up. They must not have gotten cut. So that's going to be awesome. These are some sort of aftermarket hose that I'm just going to have to trim to fit, but that'll be no big deal. So this is going together pretty well so far. Here is the fan motor wire. So I'm going to have to pull this. Which one is it now? Nope, this is it. So I'll have to feed this up through, or this one down through, so they can reach each other to plug in. But that's no big deal. We'll get that taken care of. But a couple little details here to take care of, and should be mounted in, and then I can put coolant back in. But that was a lot easier than you never know what you're going to run into, I guess. But we'll check on those grommets and find some bolts. I can find some bolts around here, that's for sure. Alright, so we got the radiator here. I pulled out the grommet and looked at my radiator mount shelf, because I have one of those, and I found some grommets off of a Yamaha Rhino, and these ones have the sleeve inside of them too for the bolts. So I'm going to put the sleeve on the bottom of the radiator here, because it's probably supposed to be in there, and then a washer. And I also found some bolts that I can use for the bottom there. Pinch it all into place and put the grommets, the plain grommets on the top, mount it up, and we'll be good. So I'm going to do that, get the hoses hooked up, get those smaller vent lines trimmed up, and we'll be good on the radiator. we're using Rust-Oleum truck bed liner, anti-skid. Going to put a bunch of real thin coats on here. Try to at least, and hopefully it turns out alright. Check this out, we got it most of the way back together on the front end at least. Got that radiator mounted, got the fenders back on, grill back in, bumper back on, and then we put the rack on with these new rack mounts. Got that all tidied up. Front bumper was a little bit tweaked, but we got that straightened out. We got this skid plate tied up, got the winch all mounted up, more mounting points secured with the front bumper. All the mounts have screws in them or bolts in them now. All of these push pins are located, all have push pins in them now. That was not the case before, so that's all nice and rigid. We have a new hood piece here. This section right here, that's all cut out right here. We've got that on order, so that's on its way. I got the bars all mounted up here. I don't have the hand guards on there yet, but those are on there. I had an airbox lid lying around, so I put that on, and we've got an air filter in there now. I put a K&N in there, so that is tidied up and ready to go. So before we put this tank cover on and side panels, we need to do something about this exhaust. That heat shield is very rattly, and then I have to decide whether or not I want to leave this Barker's exhaust on here or pull that off, as I do have a stock muffler I can put on there. So that's what's going to be next, and then we can throw the seat on and test drive this bad boy. So that's what's next. There's your exhaust shield. Where these mounts were, you can see there's a big hole right there. It was all oblong and wore out. So I welded a washer in there, put the bolt through the washer, tighten it up, no problem. There was no springs here. Well, there was, but they're not exhaust springs. They're some spring for something else. So put some actual exhaust springs there. And we got the stock muffler all mounted up back here. So exhaust should be all tidied up, ready to go. Now we can put the tank cover, side panels, seat, and finish up with the handguards. Well, check that out, looks way better. Gotta give it a bath yet. Clean some of this tape gunk off they had on here. When you don't have everything put together right, it doesn't fit right, but when you get all the push pins in the right spots, in the right size push pins secured properly, then it all fits nice. Weird. So, a couple odds and ends left. But this thing is leaving the garage. Getting a new hood, that's coming in the mail. Cover for the oil dipstick. And when it rolled, it wrecked the mount for the winch controller. So I have to rectify that yet. But that, put the handguards on and just zip tie those wires up so they're nice and tidy. Other than that, she's done. Fixed up nice. So let's get this thing out of here.